All right, it's Monday. It's 1 o'clock. It's time for the Monday message. Time to chat with the team. I always love getting together with the team, guys. We have so much good stuff going on right now. Production continues to be massive, 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 massive. Like it just keeps on rolling. People are having breakthroughs. I got one of them on the phone, on the line with us today that's going to share her breakthrough. We've got more IULs rolling in than we have ever had before. I mean, ever had before. Like this, the number one spot, I'm not kidding. It is going to get in the next little bit where $30,000 or $40,000 is just likely going to get you there, but may not. I mean, that's what's happening all over. So many positive things going on. But let's get rocking. Let's get started with the leaderboards because I want you to hear from some of my guests. All right, let's start with all producers over 1,000. We'll start with Kim Diaz, $1,496.28. Jason Aversa, $1,554.60. Rogers and Kim Straughter, $1,744.68. Doug Schaefer, $1,752.60. Kidado White, $2,043.24. Mimi Ramiro, $2,349.24. Sean Quigley, $2,349.62. Sabrina Floyd, $2,494.84. Diana Castile, $3,230.52. Byron Huff, $3,282.83.52. Austin Heater, $3,412.80. Evan Fawcett, $3,500. Kyle Fawcett, $3,888.24. Veda Gaines, $4,143.72. Nicole Mecanico, $4,197.72. Eduardo Soto, $4,202.04. Gustavo and Mercedes Terran, $6,405.36. Evan Patzer, $7,741.92. Jeremico Edwards, $9,519.56. Mark and Shannon Hutchison, $9,922.56. Billy Crane, 19 applications for $13,538.04. Continuing to hammer it. He was on the Monday Dial Jam, hammering it this morning. I believe he'll be with us again this afternoon. That Dial Jam is working, man. I'm telling you, people that jump on it are flat out getting results. Brandon and Ashley Beal, $18,080. And number one for the week last week, Mike Barber, $50,147 in premium. Holy cow. Evan, you're right, Bo. You're right, man. You are getting it on lockdown agency manager again this month, man. I'm telling you, man, so much good stuff going on. All right, let's go top 5 key leader and above groups. Number 5 would be the Cranes team with over 13,000. Number 4 would be Hudges team over 14,000. Number 3 would be Eduardo Soto outside of his 3 key leader legs, another $16,897. Brandon Beals, key leader team, $19,880 for number 2. And number 1 would be Evan Patzer's team with $67,887.64. Way to go, everybody. It's just awesome. So proud of this team. Continuing to dominate. All right, let's go to recruiting. Completed fast tracks. See, I got it right this week. I remember to do it on time this week. All right, completed fast tracks. We'll start with 1 direct completed fast track. You got Curtis Naminga. You got Eduardo Soto, Kim Diaz, and Nicole Mecanico. With 2 direct completed fast tracks, you got Diana Castile and Austin Heater. With 3 direct completed fast tracks, you got Rogers and Kim Straughter and Gustavo and Mercedes Terran. With 4 direct completed fast tracks would be my base shop here with 12 in number 1, first place with 12 direct completed fast tracks, Brandon and Ashley Beal. All right, enrolled in licensing, all with 1 direct enrollee in licensing. You got Austin Heater, Evan Patzer, Eduardo Soto, Diana Castile, Gustavo and Mercedes Terran. With 2 direct enrollees in licensing, you got Brandon and Ashley Beal. And number 1 would be my base shop here with 8 direct enrollees in licensing. All right, let's go to completed contracts with 1 direct apiece. You got Kevin Hughes, Brandon Beal, Nicole Mecanico, Zachariah Ward, Noel Wilson, and Jeremico Edwards. With 2 direct completed contracts, you got Soto, my base shop, and the Terrans. And then leading the way with 3 direct completed contracts last week, my man, Mr. Austin Heater. Speaking of Austin, I'd love to get you on the Dial Jam on Monday, anytime you're available, dude. Awesome. All right. So much good stuff going on. So much good stuff going on. Oh, somebody did want me to go top 5 year-to-date issue paid. Billy Crane sitting in the 5 spot now at 140,000. He has passed some people. I'm not saying who he passed, like Mimi, Diana, Castillo, Gustavo. I'm not saying Billy Crane, my number 5. We're a competitive bunch. Jeremico Edwards, over 167,000, sitting in the 4 spot. Evan Patzer, number 3, making moves, Evan. Over 182,000. Number 2, Brandon Ashley Beal, sitting at 266,000 and change, just short of 267,000 in issue paid. And number 1 for the number 1 year to date in issue paid, Mark Hutchison, $281,848.72. And I don't think he has plans on slowing down. All right. Hey, I do get texts every week, literally every week. So I try and make this announcement as much as I can. Hey, my number was lower than it's supposed to be. That's why we need you to submit a report. The e-apps from many of the carriers they don't show in our system. They'll show up issue paid, but they don't show up on the submit report. So that's why if you're on Soto's team somewhere, I need you to send a production report into him, the client first and last name, the product sold, the APV, and the face amount. We need that. Send it through Soto. If you're outside of Soto, send it up through your key leader. I want to get you as much recognition as possible. So definitely, please get those in, because I know we did more than we show, and I would love to get more recognition out to more people. All right, let's get started. First guest, I want to get Kim Diaz on. And let me tell you something. I am so proud of Kim Diaz and how hard she is fighting. I'm telling you, if you knew what she has fought through, I mean, she's a warrior. And she's gotten on the Dial Jams, and she booked 20 appointments the first time last week. And she had the most appointments she ever had in a week last week. So I'm so excited about that, because it's not the production that comes from the appointments that gets me excited. It's the positive change. And it's one of those things, once you book 40 appointments in a week, now you know you're a 40 appointment a week person. And you're now a different person. And that's what's so cool to me. A lot of times we get our mind sideways on a goal, right? Like Evan Patzer hitting agency manager, Jeremico Edwards hitting agency manager. We think that's the reward, and that's not the reward. I mean, it is a reward, but the reward is you're now a better person. You're now a different person. You made a positive change. It's no different than weight loss, right? Losing weight. The weight you lose is not about it. That's not the main reward. The main reward is the discipline you get. Does it make sense? So any of these positive changes, it just gets me so fired up when I see people do that. And I know Kim is going to kill it. We were talking on Friday, coming up with some lead plans. Ashlyn's working on a big lead plan for us as well to get Kim Diaz, going to be one of the top producers in the Alliance. But Kim, can you turn your camera on, turn your audio on, and chat with us a minute? I just really want to hear, just give us some of the good stuff. Tell us what made you go, you know what? I'm now a 40 appointment a week person. It's surprisingly hard to say 40 appointment a week person, 40 appointment a week person, 40 appointment a week person. All right, there we go. Got it locked in. But what made you say, I'm going to go do that? And then what did you learn? How are you feeling going into this week, Kim? And I'm not hearing you, Kim. You might need to unmute yourself and turn your camera on. Looks like your camera's on, but you might need to unmute yourself. I see you. We still can't hear you, Kim. You're muted. Still can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Oh, we can't hear you, Kim. Can you hear me? I want them to hear this good stuff. We can't hear you yet. Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. I still can't hear you, Kim. We still can't hear. I tell you what, Kim. Chandler, I know you're watching. Can you call Kim Chandler and see if you can help figure this out? Because I do want to hear from Kim. All right, let's in the meantime, let's go to Brandon Beal. Brandon, can you turn your camera on? Chat with us a little bit. And here's Brandon, here's what I want you to Jan, you're on it, man. I'm sending you her number right now. Here's what I want you to chat with us about, Brandon. Pretend I'm an agent, which that's not hard to pretend. I am in fact a licensed agent. But pretend I've only been selling simplified issue term, and I've only been selling final expense. I've dabbled a little bit with Smart UL, but I've not written any annuities, and I've not done the big IUL products. I've not written any path setters. I've not written any of the NLG products. Talk to me like that and convince me that I can do it. Convince me that it's not that scary, it's not that complicated, because you absolutely lead the team in IULs. I mean, it ain't even close, brother. You're so far out, you're so far ahead, ain't nobody can see you. But just talk to me like that, if you will, for a little bit, Brandon. I'm going to mute out and take notes.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay, Stephen?
Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, you and Holly. I know a lot of guys say this, and I know we all mean it, but I don't take this lightly. I do love getting together and speaking with the team. And I even more so love representing the Soto group. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us that are, in the top, 3, 4 out of Davies Nation. So I think that's a huge accomplishment for Ed. And I know Ashley and I wouldn't be here without him. In fact, he's actually coming out to stay with us before the agency manager's trip for a couple nights. So that'll be fun too. But to get right into it, man, you've dabbled a little bit with final expense, mortgage protection, and smart ULs. And how do I convince you is asking you, what do you have against making more money? I've learned, especially from Hutch in the boot camp that we had in February, I learned from him, and I don't want to say a seasoned veteran because I just started year 3 last month, but the more you get into these certain types of products, I think, and like Hutch was saying with annuities, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. You have to be a little bit more blunt. And and that goes to agents as well. It's like, hey, Stephen, what do you have against making more money? And you'd probably say, well, what do you mean? Well, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You know what I mean? Like, have you written an annuity? Have you looked into writing IULs? Do you know what they are? Do you know how they work? Pretty much in its simplest term, and this is how I write so many, is that I take all this information and I consolidate it and keep it so simple and so clear, as Tim Goad would say. It's pretty much a tax-free retirement strategy, okay, that you don't lose money on, okay, that you get great growth, it's liquid, and it's 100% tax-free income you don't have to pay taxes on, okay? And so with those 4 components, I would then ask you, Stephen, where are you wanting to start? I had someone in Davies Nation give me a call not too long ago, and we spent about 15, 20 minutes on the phone trying to go over IULs and exactly how to sell them and everything. And I tell people it's a trust product, man. You don't go into a house. I mean, unless you're that good. I'm not that good. Hutch may be that good, but I don't walk into a house and sell an annuity or IUL just right there on the spot. Like, it doesn't happen that way. It's a trust product. That person has to have some sort of faith and some sort of trust in you because you're taking care of their nest egg. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where it's like, you can't get that kind of money from people, you know what I mean, unless they trusted you or have trusted you at some point, which leads me to my next point, is that who are the people that trust you most? It's the people that you spend the most time with, or the people that you love and care about. So last month, Ashley and I, with the exception of, I think, 1 or 2 policies, with the exception of 4 policies, we had 28, with the exception of 4, I think the rest were National Life Group, IUL, and F&G IULs. and we wrote over $40,000 last month and didn't buy a single lead. They were all from just warm market and warm market of that warm market of that warm market. It just spread out, you know. And I talked about that at the boot camp as well. You know, make a list of people that you know and love and care about most. And if they're between the ages of, you know, 2 years old and, you know, 40, 45, why haven't you talked to them yet, Steven? You know what I mean? Like, why haven't you gotten a hold of them and asked them what sort of tax? I always start with, what sort of tax-free retirement do you have? It's kind of a setup, because people are like, well, I don't have a tax-free retirement. I have, you know, 401k, I have an IRA, or I have a Roth, or I have a SEP, you know, 403b, whatever it is, 529 for my kids. And that just, I'm not going to get started with 529. So it's like, who do you love and care about most? Start with those people, start with a list of 10, and then branch off from there and branch off from there. And I set a goal for myself. I said, we're going to write 30,000 this month. And that 30 turned into 40. And I'm wanting to do the same thing again this month. Also too, Stephen, in terms of IULs, is you got to do your homework on the other products that I just mentioned. So you got to do your homework on the 401k. Figure out the good, figure out the bad, figure out the ugly. Same thing goes for the IRA, for the Roth. There are so many different retirement vehicles out there. And to me, there's just nothing better than an index universal life for myself. Billy said, I'll write 70,000 this month. I love you, Billy, but you ain't beating me. I don't think that there's nothing better. I think there's nothing on the planet that can outwork or, you know, outcompete the index universal life product. It's completely safe from market loss, and you get great growth, and you don't have to, I love these comments. And you don't have to worry about, you know, risk to market loss, and you have access to it whenever you need it. You know what I mean? Also too, I'm supposed to give a shout out to my man, Evan Panther, because it's his birthday. I think he just turned 36. And then also too, congrats to Austin Heater, who, I hope I can say this, him and Monica just got engaged. So congrats to him as well. But Stephen, I want to keep it short and sweet, man. I want to keep it crazy simple. I didn't want to get too far into the weeds, and I think that's what a lot of people do with IULs. Even it doesn't matter if I'm talking to someone who wants to do $100 a month or someone who wants to do 100,000 in a year. You know what I mean? Writing an IUL is a state of mind, and I know that eventually, I keep saying it and I keep speaking it, I'm going to write a $1 million IUL. Like, it's gonna be, and that's gonna be the target. Like, I'm gonna write $1 million target IUL. It may not be today or tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, but it will happen. It's just a matter of time. We're looking to hit AM this month. We missed it the last 2 months in a row, and I'll be honest, it was super disappointing. And then my buddy Evan hit it last month, and so, like a presidential candidate, I had to concede to him and give him huge congratulations. That was awesome. But looking at what my team is doing this year, Steve, or not this year, this month, I think we probably have potential to skip AM and go straight to DM. And I know Jeremico was talking crap the other, you know, not too long ago. So if he wants to race me there, we can do that. And it won't just be on one or two big IULs. It'll be on a bunch, but it will also incorporate probably another 40,000 in mortgage protection, final expense, and IULs as well. So if he wants to challenge me, I'm willing to take on that challenge. And like Billy said, he wants to do 70,000. He might do it, but we'll see. But did you want me to go over anything else, Stephen? Or?
That was perfect, dude. Thank you. That was perfect. And just like as I'm listening to you talk, here's the notes I'm making. The belief level. Did you see his belief level in the product? He believes in this product at his core. You can't be that highly successful unless you believe at your core that it is the best thing. I 100% believe the same thing as Brandon Beal. Every American family needs an IUL. Everyone, they all need an IUL. The people my age and younger, they're not going to have retirement if they don't. I mean, it's the one thing that works for all that. You think about all the other options. I mean, 401k, you know, IRA, all those things. And Brandon's right. You got to know your stuff. It doesn't take long to do a little bit of research to know your stuff there. But when you look at all those vehicles, if they're subject to loss, it's hard to make the long-term gains that you want to make. Now, here's what I'll also tell you. the flexibility. You go with like the NLG product, not only if the worst happens will the family get taken care of because there's a massive death benefit there, but if somebody becomes critically ill, there's access to the money. If you have a heart attack and are out of work because of the heart attack, you've a 401k, if you access that money, you're gonna get killed. You can have the free cash from your IUL. And then the tax free on the backside. When you really think about paying tax on the seed or on the harvest, I'm telling you, I believe the same thing Brandon believes. And if you'll believe that, you can kill it selling IULs. The other thing I made a note of, he owns it. He owns it. If you don't have an IUL yet, you need to get an IUL. Start with the NLG product, start with the F&G product, doesn't matter which. We've got both of them. I've got them on me and Holly. I've got them on our kids. We've got a lot of them. You've got to own it. There's nothing more powerful than showing your policy going, this is my policy. Yeah. Chris Long sold about $24,000 in IULs over the last week. And he said every time he shows up his policy, there's nothing more powerful than that. And then the last note I made, Brandon, from what I'm taking away from what you said, is that you know your stuff. You know your stuff. Now, it can be intimidating. I get it. It can be intimidating. You feel like, I'm just getting my feet underneath me on mortgage protection and final expense, and I think I might have a smart UL I sold, but just bite at a time, man. Same way you eat elephant, bite at a time, bite at a time. But just get started, man. That was good stuff, Brandon. Thank you, bro. And I appreciate your example as always. And
for sure.
I'm gonna love watching you go DM, brother. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you and Ashley. That's awesome. All right, thanks, Kim, buddy. We got you. Chance says we think we got it fixed. We can't hear you. Still nothing. Nope. Sorry. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get it ironed out. We'll get it ironed out by next week. And let's get you on Monday message next week. And hey, you'll have another week of 40 appointments underway, right? Yeah. So join Kim. Join us on the Dial Jam. Join Billy Crane on the Dial Jam. Mondays, we're going to hammer out and book 20 appointments at a minimum for Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we get back together again. We book another 20 appointments for Friday, Saturday. And if you're like Billy Crane and you hit your goal ahead of time, you can then get on the phone to book appointments for Monday night. So crazy, man. Billy, you're killing it, bro. Kim, I am super proud of you. You are a fighter. You are a warrior. And, man, you're setting a heck of an example. So we'll get you on next week. We'll get it figured out. Let's go to Jeremico Edwards. We had our other new agency manager that hit it for the first time last week in Evan Patzer. So this week we wanted to get Jeremico on. Brother, I'm going to mute out and I'm going to listen to you for a little bit. I know you're making moves. I know you are. I know you're on Andy Albright's short list, like Evan Patzer, of people that he sees going RM, NM, VP, EVP, and above. So I'm telling you what, man, just tell us some of the good stuff, man. Tell us changes you made. Tell us changes you are making. Tell us some of the things that are going on, brother. I'm going to mute out and listen to you.
Oh, okay. Now, can you hear me? I hope you can.
Loud and clear, dude.
All right. I'm so upset we didn't get to hear Kim. Kim, I really want to hear what you got to say. Oh, you look so excited. All right. Okay, so we'll hear that next week. But okay, so my name is Jeremico Edwards here out of Detroit, Michigan. And man, I'm so grateful to be where I am now, Stephen, just to be a part of the team, just to spark the team and hitting AM. Man, I'm so grateful. But it's not just myself. It's the team. It's your coaching, Stephen. It's Andy's coaching. Everybody helped me to get to AM. I guarantee you. So we already have the numbers for the month of August. All right. Okay, so we already have the numbers. So I'm going to be qualified. We may celebrate for like 3 or 4 hours, but then we're going straight to district manager. We're going straight to regional manager. AM is really nothing. It's okay, but to really make changes, to really do something in a company, we need to be RM. And to help Billy and to help Rogers get to their next level, I have to raise the stakes. Okay, I have to do whatever it takes to help get them there. And me hitting AM was the catalyst, and now it's just like I done took the roof off, I done took the lid off. So now nobody has any excuses. because that was, sometimes excuses can hold us back. I know excuses held me back for a long time. One thing I can say about your coaches, Stephen, is you or Andy, you never allowed me to be a victim. You never allowed me to make excuses, even though I wanted you to accept some of my excuses on why I wasn't further along. I wanted you to, say, oh, it's okay. It's because of this happened to you when you were growing up. It's because this happened. I wanted you to give me some excuses so that I can, have a reason to go slower. But you never gave me a reason. You just kept going, hey, you could do it. You could do it. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Nobody ever coddled me. Yeah, there you go. That's the word. That's what I was looking for. Nobody ever coddled me. And I wanted to be coddled sometimes, but nobody ever coddled me. And so it's just amazing journey from last year. I would say about December of 2019, Stephen, is when I really started going, you know what? I got to do something different. I got to make a lot of changes. If it's to be, it's up to me. I started thinking a lot about me and what I need to change to help lead the team and to change the Davies team and to change the alliance. So it started with raising my production. I had to go from running 12 appointments a week to I was up to about 25 appointments a week. This was before the 40 appointments. Now I'm up to about 30 to 35 appointments a week. And my goal is 40 appointments every week. My goal is 40 appointments every week. I need to write 15,000 a week. After that 15,000, I'm dedicating the rest of my time to recruiting because I have to get the district manager. I have to get the regional manager. So when it comes to some of the things that I changed to go from key leader to AM, or to go from, I was doing about 15,000 a month to now I'm consistently doing about 30, 35,000 a month issue paid. Some of the things I changed is I had to cut off negative association, right? So I don't care if it was at the hot spot. I don't care if it was over the phone. If it was negative, if people were not productive, if people weren't helping me get to the goal, I had to spend less time with them, right? So I didn't cut everybody off, but I had to spend way less time with them because I needed to focus on my goal. For me in particular, I'm not sure if anybody else in this phone is like this, but for me, if I don't have peace in my environment, I can't function, right? So I have to figure out how to have peace in my environment so I can explode. And so when I started cutting out, negative people and, just, anybody who's not productive in my life, anybody who don't have goals, I had to stop listening to them. Any TV show that I was watching that wasn't helping me to get to the next level, or, if it wasn't positive, I had to cut it off. Now, is it tough to make those changes? Yes. But I had to make those changes. It took me about 2 months to really get through. So it wasn't all in one whop. But from December to January, I was just cleaning out different things in my life where I could be focused on my goals, focused on being a better person. And, again, I had to do that for me because it all starts with me. And shockingly, Stephen, the team started growing when I changed and I started doing higher production. I don't know the math on it. I don't know the science behind it, but it seemed like everybody started doing better when I started doing better. I don't know if it had anything to do with me or not. I'm not sure. All I know is when I started doing better, everybody else started doing better. so it's in December I was reading this book, and I forgot what book it was in, but it said, whatever you don't change, you choose. Right? So whatever you don't change, you choose. So when I wasn't changing myself to become agency manager or district manager, I was choosing key leader. So I've been choosing key leader this whole time, and I had to make a choice. I didn't want to keep choosing key leader. I want to choose agency manager. I want to choose district manager. I want to choose to be a good leader and lead the Davies team, and lead the alliance. Okay, so whoever on this team I can help, I'm more than willing to help. Tawny Carey asked me to do a call with her team, and it was just amazing. I almost dropped the phone. When she texted me and said, hey, I want you to do a call with my team, I almost dropped the phone. Like, Tawny, Jason and Tawny Carey, you want me to talk to your team? And, and me and Evan Pastor was over there. We was just chatting with them. And, man, it was amazing. But the good news is I actually learned something. So she wanted me to talk to her team, but I was able to get something out of the training. So I actually stayed on. Like, she had me on first, but I stayed on the extra 30 minutes because, I mean, the training was just phenomenal. You know, we just have great leaders in the alliance. So, man, you know, and I'm constantly changing, Stephen. If I can give a tip to anybody on this phone, I would say it all starts with you. That's the main thing. Whatever you're looking for, you have to become that thing first, right? So my two girls, my 6 and my 8-year-old, they eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, but they wouldn't eat as many vegetables and fruits if they see me eating Popeye's chicken all the time. So they have to see certain things. And that go the same for all of us. Whatever we want, we have to become first, and then people will follow. Again, don't ask me the science behind it. I don't know. All I know is once you change, your whole world changes. And so when I made a decision to become more, I mean, Stephen, you hit the nail on the head when you said, when you write higher production, it's not about the higher production. It's about what you have to become to do the higher production. Like, I had to become a different person. I had to start answering my phone. I had to make myself available. I got a new girl on the team, Cartia. I got Sue that I'm helping. Like, I will be eating my food, and I would have to put my food down to answer the phone because they will be in the house. So I had to change. Now, my meals are important to me, but me hitting AM was more important to me. So I had to substitute. I had to sacrifice. I had to put down the steak. I had to put down, you know, whatever I was eating. I had to put down my spinach. Whatever I was eating, I had to put it down so I could help somebody else hit their goals. So now that I'm a different person, now I know how to help other people hit their goals. So now it's just, man, you know, I look forward to the future. I look forward to, you know, I look forward to the satisfaction of helping other people hit AM and helping other people go DM and just being a good influence. I look forward to getting the rewards for that. I look forward to having a bigger heart towards helping people. Because every day I'm growing, Stephen. Every day I'm learning from you. Every day I'm getting better and better. I'm 37 now. My goal is to be a millionaire by 39. Okay. So I've been too long hanging around $150,000, $200,000 a year. I've been hanging around there for too long. So now my goal is, I mean, there's nothing stopping me from being a millionaire. There's absolutely nothing. So now that I know I can hit a agency manager, why not go to $1 million? Why not become regional manager? Like, why not? What's holding me back? So, you know, again, the first melanated millionaire in the alliance. That's my goal. The first melanated millionaire in the alliance. So I'm looking forward to it. Stephen, thanks for all your help, buddy. I appreciate it. Billy's gonna be second. I see that. Billy's gonna be second. Roger's gonna be third. Everybody coming along. I look forward to helping everybody. So I appreciate you, Stephen. Anything else?
That was perfect, brother. Perfect, man. Great stuff. And I am so crazy proud of you, dude. I was just making some notes here as you're talking. Cut off negative association. The negative people in your life, they're costing you more than you can possibly imagine. You don't know how good it feels until you do it. I'm telling you, you don't know how good it feels to cut out negative association until you do it. And then you're like, oh my God, has it always been this great? Not having a bunch of negative people dragging me down and pulling me down. Has it always been this great? Yeah. Hey, how do you do it? Real simple. Here's an application point to what Jeremico taught. Just make a list right now. Just top of your head, just let whatever falls out of your head happen. 3 people you need to spend less time with, 3 people you need to spend more time with. Don't think on it too long, or you'll start selling yourself that, well, my cousins, I mean, they're negative, but you know, they have good reasons for it. You know, they've been through some tough stuff, and you start doing that. So just like instant, just let it fall out of your mouth. Who's the 3 you need to spend less time with? Who's the 3 you need to spend more time with? Super simple fix. You just keep notching that way. Just keep notching it up. I'm telling you, all the successful people I know, and I'm talking successes in business, people that are successful in family, they do not allow negative people around. You know, it's like a guy I was talking to one time. I was like, he was struggling in his relationship. I started talking to him, and I learned to talk to his dad a lot. Well, his dad has a collection of dysfunctional relationships that he's moved from one to the other. So it's like, you got to stop talking to him, man. That's causing you a problem. That's causing you a problem. You're projecting what you're here. I could tell you all the psychology behind it, but you're right. Just cut off negative association. If someone does not make you feel better, if someone doesn't make you feel more equipped, if someone doesn't uplift you, I'm telling you, it's costing you more than you could possibly imagine. I love the note about whatever you want, you have to become. Yeah, that's the truth, brother. That's the truth. If you want it, you have to become it. And maybe you're out there, you're struggling and you're going, yeah, but you don't understand. I'm telling you, there's nobody that you admire that was naturally that way. They became that person. Andy talked about, I think on the activity call on Friday, he's not naturally the guy on the stage with the, that's not naturally him. It's someone he knew he had to become to get what he wanted. It's crazy to think, because he is so much that person, but whatever you want, you have to become. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. I love that. Don't celebrate too long. That's another great note. In fact, there's two things you talked about that are in my talk that I'm going to do to close out the call here today. That was one of them. Don't celebrate too long. People celebrate too long. And no excuses. And I know, dude, I know when I would get off the phone with you, I'm like, oh, he's irritated at me. It's like, and I love you enough to not care. So does that make sense? Like, I love you enough to not care if you're irritated at me, because I was going to hold you accountable. Does that make sense? I wasn't going to let you become less. I wasn't going to let you give in and take that excuse. And so, yeah, dude, I 100%, I could list the times I got off the phone with you and I'm like, yeah, he's irritated at me. I can tell he's laughing, but he's irritated. But I love you enough to not let that stop me. See, a lot of times, here's a weak leadership thing, and parents do this all the time. It drives me insane. They'll say, well, I didn't want to cause an issue. I didn't want to hurt their feelings. And it's like, no, that's bull crap. It's not that you didn't want to hurt their feelings. Don't act like you're that concerned about their feelings. What you're actually concerned about, what you're doing is using cowardice, and you're hiding it as niceness, but it's cowardice. What you're afraid of is how they're going to react to what you say. What you're afraid of is how they're going to react to you not accepting their excuse. That's at the end of the day, that's the real deal. It's not niceness. It's misplaced kindness, which is actually a cruelty. So I'm glad you stuck with me, brother. I know sometimes I'm going to plan on irritating you more. Just know that. If you want to become the first lady, I love that. Oh, I love stuff. I love it. I can't. Me and Andy can help get you there, but we are going to irritate you some more. I promise you. All right, let's go. So here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about roadblocks. Because here's the truth, right? And I like to hit you with the truth, and then we talk about it. So here's the truth. Growth is natural minus dysfunction. Growth is natural minus dysfunction. You should be getting smarter. You should be getting wiser. You should be getting better. You should be moving up the levels. You should be doing higher levels of production and recruiting, because growth is natural minus dysfunction. It's the dysfunctions that impede growth. So I'm going to talk to you about 7 of them that'll get you in a jam, that'll slow you down, and I hope to irritate you. I love that. It's one of those things you go through in your leadership journey as you're trying to lead people. You always go through these times of the people you're leading love you, or they're irritated at you, and then they love you again, and then they are irritated at you again. Then they love you again, and they're irritated at you again. But that's part of leadership. All right. Just like I know my kids get irritated at me, and then they love me again. They get irritated at me, and they love me again. And then I say, no, you can't go play with those kids, and they get irritated at me again. Then they love me again. This is part of leadership. All right. So let's get going. Number 1, and Jeremy talked about this. Number 1 dysfunction, growth impeding dysfunction, is excuses. Excuses they're a narcotic, right? They take away the pain momentarily, but they leave you less than. That's why I wouldn't let you use those excuses, Jeremico, because it's a narcotic. It takes the pain off for a little bit. It's like, okay, it's not so bad that I'm only writing 15 grand a month. It's not so bad that I'm not an agency manager yet. It takes the pain off for a little bit, but it's a narcotic. It's doing more damage than it's helping. It's taking the pain off, but it's leaving you less than. And the problem with excuses is that they have the feel of a truth most of the time. They have the feel of a truth, especially when we go to background excuses. I say that all the time. Hey, you cannot, if you want to be a leader, you cannot give into socioeconomic, cultural stereotypes. You can't give into that. Well, that's people where I'm from. That's how we all do, right? It's funny. I can't tell you. Well, travel to hot spots and be like, yeah, well, you know how it is here. You know, everybody runs behind. Everybody's late for a hot spot. But you know how it is. That's just how people are here. I'm like, that's how non-leaders are. Yeah, I get it. Non-leaders are late for everything. I get that. Non-leaders have a habit of not showing up. I get it. But that is not because of where you live or it's a choice. What Jeremico said is when we don't change, it's a choice. That's a choice. Does that make sense? What I'm getting at is the excuses that they have a little feel of truth to them. That's what makes it so confusing and misleading. But just remember, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Can't is another word for won't. Can't is won't in pretty dress up clothes. That's all that it is. That's all that it is. But excuses, they have that feel of truth, and they take away the pain, but they leave you less than. When it comes to excuses, here's the question to ask. What am I trying to mask, or what am I trying to hide from? What am I trying to mask, or what am I trying to hide from? So a perfect example would be Jeremico, right? When he was just doing 15 appointments, he could give the excuse, well, but what you don't understand is I got this situation. I got that situation. I was a high-low driver, whatever. Pick one. But if we boiled it down at that point, what he was trying to hide from was the fact that he had more in him. Does that make sense? Like even on a subconscious level, he knew it was there, but that excuse would make it easy to hide from that, hide from the responsibility, hide from the extra work. Does that make sense? And that's why I'm so proud of him, because most people, and I'm talking 95%, they stay right up under that excuse. It's funny. I was talking with a guy about he had some of his excuses. I think he was particularly irritated at me at the time, but he had figured out why he wasn't a top producer. And it was because at that point, there was so many top producers in Jacksonville, Florida. And that's why he wasn't, because he didn't live in Jacksonville, Florida. And he had it explained away good, man. Had it explained away good. And I said, well, the one problem with that is that before we had top producers in Jacksonville, Florida, we had no top producers in Jacksonville, Florida. Before we found leaders there, we didn't have leaders there. And there was two other areas that he had mapped out in his mind as to why. But he's hiding from the responsibility of the work that it takes to do it. Does that make sense? So what am I trying to mask? What am I trying to hide from? And I'm telling you, excuses, they got that feel like the truth, man. And that's why it's so confusing. So confusing. All right. Next dysfunction that impedes growth. Goals not rooted in hard work. I have a recipe for frustration. Would you like to hear my recipe for frustration? All right. It's one part higher personal production next month, one part same number of leads, and one part same amount of work. That's just 3 equal parts. Boom, that's your recipe for frustration. I'm telling you, goals not rooted in hard work. And that's why, like, give yourself activity goals. Don't set a goal to write $40,000. Set a goal to be on Money Monday. I don't know what Soto's calling Thursday. We're calling Monday, Money Monday. Be on there on Monday and book 20 appointments, no matter what it takes. That's a way better goal than I'm going to write $40,000 in the month of August. Why? Goals not rooted in hard work always lead to frustration. And it's another dysfunction that impedes growth. Just know this, when it's an activity goal, you're 100% in charge of it. That's why we don't like setting activity goals. We don't like setting activity goals because we're 100% in charge of it. And if I don't show up on the Monday dial jam, and if I don't book 20 appointments, if I don't make enough dials to book 20 appointments, then everyone will know that, yeah, I get it. Nobody is a fan of accountability, but it's the only way we grow. So number 2, goals not rooted in hard work. Number 3, talking, not listening. Talking, not listening. Jeremico hit on this process a little bit and talking about calls he had with me and Andy. Or Andy and I, and I've had many calls with folks where they're talking instead of listening. They're explaining away instead of listening. Anytime you're with someone who's operating at a higher level, let them do all the talking. You do all the listening. Talking instead of listening it's such a dysfunction. But where it comes from is our uncomfortability with the truth and silence. It's our uncomfortability with the truth and silence that causes us to try and fill up all the spaces with words. When we have a call or let's say I've got a call with Andy, right? Let me think of all the great things we got going right so I can just talk about that, and then maybe Andy won't ask me questions that will show me that I'm not performing in certain areas. You see what I'm saying? Can you see? So talking instead of listening. Number 4, Jeremico talked about this when he said, don't celebrate too long. Emotional extremes. That this might be one of the top dysfunctions that impedes growth. I got super pissed off. I got super happy. I got super bad. I got super sad. I got super fired up. Emotional extremes are a dysfunction in the way of growth. I've seen people let hurt feelings cost them millions and millions and millions of dollars. I was texting with a guy one time. I was like, just trying to help him get his mind right. This definitely be somebody that was irritated at me as I'm trying to help them through their growth process. And it's just like, I don't know how to not feel this way. And I'm like, God, I don't, then I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. Does that make sense? There's nothing I can do if you want to choose to stay in a negative state, and to stay in a state of offense, to stay in a state of upset at someone. If you choose that, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. But know that it's an emotional extreme, and know that it's a dysfunction in the way of growth. Excuse me. Emotional extremes, too high, too low, both get you in trouble. Stay as close to the middle as possible. Now, before you say, but what you don't understand, let's go back to point 1. Excuses. Let's go back to point 1. Excuses. I'm telling you, what's going to come out of your mouth right now is an excuse. Don't let it happen. I know you were raised around, I know your parents were yellers. I know that I know all this stuff, right? I know. What are you going to do about it? That's one of the reasons I respect Holly Davies so, I respect my wife more than you can possibly imagine. And one of the big things that drives that is her choice to become someone different than what she saw when she was being raised. That is, dude, that's big. So I know, I hear you. I hear you that everybody from your culture gets super mad and gets super this. I hear you. Make a leadership choice. Make a leadership choice to stay as close to the middle as possible. Not perfect, but remember, consistency is not perfection. Consistency is constant correction. Stay as close to the middle as possible. Not too high, not too low. We got to get going. Number 5, giving into distractions. Whatever the distraction is. If the distraction's people, if the distraction's things, if the distraction's hobbies, if it's the distraction's this. So Jeremico's got a choice to make, right? He said right here on the call what he was going to do. He's got a choice to make. Now, on the way there, especially as cash flow goes up, opportunity for distractions arise. I never understand when people are broke as all get out and they don't work. That blows my mind. I'm like, what are you going to do? Lay on the couch in a crappy apartment? Let's go. Let's book 40 appointments. Let's go. It gets, get right. Because it gets tougher the more money you have, the more cash flow you have coming in to not give in to distractions. That's one of the reasons I respect Andy Albright so much. You understand the options he's got? And yet he chooses to continue to build the alliance, continues to work that hard to make more room for more people's dreams. But it's a choice. People are going to try and distract Jeremico. Opportunities are going to try and distract Jeremico. I'm telling you, giving into distractions is a dysfunction that slows down growth. And you can kind of start figuring out a lot of these are related, right? And it may be that if we look back on some of our slumps, we grab 3 or 4 of them, right? The excuse, because excuses pair well with distraction. Like a sommelier. Try this excuse with this distraction. I think you'll find that the notes of truth feel to it go well with the maybe pick 3 or 4. I know I can look back at my life and go, yeah, I used those 3 that time. Yeah. So they're all, and the key is not perfection. The key is, hey, let's keep each other in line. And let's do this less. Let's do this less so we can grow more. Because remember, with dysfunction removed, growth is natural. All right. Number 6, lack of realness with self. Know thyself. I love the saying, if I could kick the guy in the butt that was responsible for most of my problems, I wouldn't be able to sit down for a month. Right? It's us, man. Know thy enemy. Thy enemy is me. The biggest, the hardest person for me to lead? The hardest person for me to lead is that joker in the mirror every morning. That's the hardest person for me to lead. That's why we have to have a higher level of realness with self. Highest level of realness with self. Can you see how these go well? If we're not real with ourselves, we're going to reach for an excuse. What would you don't understand about my circumstances, my situation? I love what Adam Katz says. Then get out from underneath those circumstances. That's not a great Katz impersonation, admittedly. That was just kind of off the cuff. I could do better. But lack of realness with self. What will help? 2 things: zooming out, right? Zooming out and looking as objectively. Like, if I was trying to lead me, what would I tell me to quit doing? If I was trying to indict myself as an ambitious person, is there sufficient evidence to indict? If I was trying to indict myself as a great father, is there sufficient evidence to indict? If I was trying to indict myself as a great spouse to Holly, is there sufficient evidence to indict? Looking at yourself in that very real, zoomed out way is so, so vital. So that's number 1. Number 2, you need people in your life that will speak the truth to you. You need people in your life that will speak the truth to you. And Jeremico, I said you hit on 2 of these. You actually hit on most all of them, right? See, in order for him to continue his growth journey, he needs people like me and Andy to talk to him. He needs to try and sell his excuses to me and Andy, or to Andy and I, so that he can hear the falseness of them and allow us to lead him. Does that make sense? I need people like that in my life. I need other great men in my life to help me become a better man. So I need to zoom out and be objective. And then I need those outside influences. Hey, it goes all the way back to negative people, right? How are you going to have time for those type of, how am I going to have time for those type of men in my life? Well, I've got to spend less time with ones that aren't bringing that. Does that make sense? All right. Number 7, negotiating with the price of winning. We have all done this. We've got to do it less. We negotiate with the price of winning. What will get Jeremico in trouble with the goals he just set out is if he starts to negotiate with the price of winning. I have told you, Jeremico, how hard I worked to get that accomplished. You know how hard I worked, right? I feel like I've sold you on it. The number 1 danger, brother, is going to be for you to start to negotiate. For you to start to negotiate and go, I might be able to get it 70%. I might be able to get it 30% off. I might be able to get 30% off. And actually, now that I think about it, I've learned a lot over these last years, and I'm actually in a much better position than Stephen was in the beginning. And see, I don't need to invest that much. I've told you, right? I've told you I would spend $10,000, $12,000 a month on newspaper ads, right? I don't really need to. Can you see how that starts? I know you're not doing that. That's why I'm talking to you. I would hesitate. I would not put someone on the spot that I was worried that they were doing that. But negotiating with the price of success. Let me tell you something. Anything worth doing is going to be harder than you thought. It's going to take longer than you thought, and you're going to have to push through more disappointment than you thought. Sorry. I hate it too. If that makes you feel better, I hate it too. It is what it is. If we start to negotiate with the price of success, that we are bringing a dysfunction into our life that will slow down our growth. And it's not just business, it's life. If I start to negotiate with the price of success, when I listen to other great men talk about how hard they work on their relationship and with their children, if I start to negotiate, if I start to think, yeah, but I'm bringing a dysfunction into my life that's going to slow down my growth. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. I know it helps me to hear it again. People say, you were talking to me. I'm like, be quite frank with you, I wasn't. I was talking to me. And you just got to listen in. Remember, all conversations are with yourself. Sometimes they include other people. This is another one of those, guys. Holly and I love you guys so much. If we don't know you yet, we're going to love you till we get to know you. We want you to win more than you can possibly imagine. We are so grateful for how things have worked out with our journey with Andy and Jane and the Alliance. That, I mean, we're so grateful we can't hardly see straight. So we just want to pay it forward. We want you to win more than you possibly imagine. Let's go out. Let's get it together. And I do need 3 p.m. I need someone on the live mic on the dial jam. I forgot to confirm that before I got here, but we will crank the dial jam back up at 3 p.m. All right, guys. Love y'all. Hammer down.